Good afternoon. Good. Yeah. Good afternoon. If I can have your attention, please. Don't want to interrupt the fine meals that we've been given today. Just want to take a moment to get the alumni reunion weekend started with the remarks from Amy Becker and our lovely alumni panel. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for the admissions update luncheon and student ambassador panel. My name is Megan Clohessy, and I am a proud 2014 alumna, and I also currently serve on the Alumni Association Board of Directors, along with Vanessa Thompson, the president there at the table for 2012. I have the pleasure of introducing you to today's guest speaker, Chatham's Vice President for Enrollment Management, Amy Becker. Ms. Becker brings 20 years of experience building enrollment in varying types of schools, ranging from the Hart School of Music, Dance, and Theater at the University of Hartford to the Ford School of Public Policy at the University of Michigan. Ms. Becker has received her MS in Organizational Leadership from Concordia University, Ann Arbor, Michigan, and has a BS in Music Therapy from the University of Minnesota. I apparently lost my space. Bear with me. And with this, her art music therapy degree, it is proof that an undergraduate degree with liberal arts depth is a springboard to any career. Speaking as someone with a creative writing major, I thank you very much for that. Amy Becker joined Chatham in 2013 and has successfully led the university to unprecedented enrollment growth. She's passionate about student access to higher education and believes strongly in the Chatham mission and vision. Amy, I pass the mic to you to provide an update on admissions and financial aid at Chatham University.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can everybody hear me okay? Is the mic on? Mic on okay? No. How's that? How are we doing here? How are we doing? No. How are we doing now? How? Testing it now. Testing it now. How are we doing? All right, welcome everybody in stereo. Very good. Well, welcome to Reunion Weekend. As I was thinking about this and preparing for this, do you know that the last time we were together was in the tent in 2019, celebrating the university's 150th. I am so glad to be able to welcome you all back to campus this year in person. So congratulations and welcome back to Chatham. Okay. Yes, absolutely. All right. We back? Okay. All right, fantastic. Well, a little brief overview of what we're going to spend some time together doing today. We are going to go over a brief overview of enrollment, sort of what's been happening in enrollment management here at Chatham for the past year. We're also going to introduce you to our panel of current students who are here, and then we're going to open it up for some Q&A. So that's how we're going to spend our next half an hour together. So want to kick off by saying, but the show of hands, real quickly, how many of you, this is one of your first times back on campus, at least for a while? Good, welcome back. With Chatham, one of the things that we have been working really hard here is to make sure we keep your university and your alma mater strong. It's always been strong, but something that we're always working toward is how can we strengthen and keep a strong vision moving forward also. Chatham has been one of the fastest growing universities in the Pittsburgh region over the last 8 years. Of course, you know we went all gender in 2015, and we've seen a 62% increase in our undergraduate enrollment since 2014. This has been something that we have been strategic, trying to work on and trying to build and grow for you as alumni, being proud of your alma mater, something that we never lose sight of. As a quick review, so this incoming class, as I do this presentation every year, I know there's always questions about what does the student body look like these days? What is the demographic of our student body? So about 30% of the incoming class this year were from out of state. About 26% of our incoming class are first generation, meaning the first in their families to go to college. This is something that is a strong passion and focus for us as far as access and equity in higher education, and something we never lose sight of. 21% is our Atlanta population, our BIPOC students, so students who are African American, Latino, Asian, Native American students in identity. About 35% of our incoming class are male. And this is in comparison to the national averages of colleges and universities that have been all gender since their creation. That national average is about 60-40. So Chatham is right up there, moving our way toward that national average in comparison, something that's strong. About 37% of our incoming class this year identify as varsity athletes. Again, something that's really important and shows that connection to, campus community and pride. And then about 30% of our incoming class are Pell eligible. This is something, again, around access, equity, and financial support that we track and we make sure is possible, that students from all financial and economic backgrounds can attend Chatham. Academically, we have maintained and continued to improve the academic profile. So even as we've grown that much over the last 10 years, we haven't sacrificed quality in academic. So that's something that you've got current students here, they can attest to. Chatham's academic experience in the classroom continues to be strong, challenging, and putting out very strong, qualified graduates. Something you can be proud of, hopefully. Our mission and values have not wavered. Something when I'm presenting and talking with prospective students, these are 4 core areas that we continue to reference and we continue to talk about with every single new incoming class. These are our areas, they're part of our history, and they're also part of our vision and our mission moving forward. Not anything that we stop talking about and continue to work toward. Academically, there's a lot of new things happening on campus. We have a new neuroscience major that's in our School of Health Sciences that we're working to grow. Food studies was brought on about a year and a half ago, so continuing to grow our Eden Hall campus and our Falk School of Sustainability offerings for students nationwide. We also added a music technology and a music business program, again, as we're trying to grow and build those areas of plus for students to, engage in outside of the classroom. As many of you may have been involved in the arts when you were students here, these are some of the areas academically that we're working to grow to continue to bring that, student population to campus. In addition to that, the immersive media continues to be a very popular program that's in our sort of in our tech area, I would say, design and tech. Immersive media is a virtual design major. You may think of it as gaming, but it's much, much more than that, actually, and is related to helping people design mine safety or helping design medical facilities or operating rooms virtually before they actually physically go into a dangerous location or build a multi-million-dollar building. So a lot of different ways our students are working with cutting-edge technology there and making sure that we're doing that. Minors are a big part of where we're putting effort and emphasis as well academically, so some new programs that we have coincide with different partnerships that we have here on campus. For example, we have a partnership on campus with the Holocaust Center, and we have minors that relate to that, so Holocaust, Genocide, and Human Rights Studies minor, Jewish Studies minor. We also have a Social Justice minor. Management information systems in these different areas, again, go to that demand area from students around business, technology, and sciences. So kind of giving you a quick but brief overview of where effort is at today to try and have majors, minors, areas of study that are in demand, and also, recognizing what students want to offer. I decided it's really easy to just talk about this stuff, but why don't we show you some of these things? So I have a couple of videos I'm gonna show you. One of the things that Chatham always pays attention to is our demographics and some of the demand that is coming from the market in different programs that we have. If you didn't know, Chatham has an array of online programs, and one of the things that we have noticed in reviewing the demographics of the students that are interested is that women age 30 to 45 who are working adults with family have identified an interest in an MBA and have, on average, really liked Chatham's offerings and our history and our legacy in that area. This is a growth area for Chatham. So I want to share a video that we have in market right now that sort of shows you this. And by the way, all of this was filmed on campus. This isn't the career you dreamed
of. Take back your dream with an online MBA from Chatham University. Balance your life and school with the convenience of online learning. Lower your costs with affordable tuition rates and employer discounts. Grow your knowledge with courses and faculty that challenge you to go further. And advance your career with focus areas in entrepreneurship or healthcare management. Get started today at chatham.edu.
So kind of short, sweet, but to the point, affordable, flexible, meets your needs, and completely relevant to the marketplace. So you may see some of those things in production. The next one I want to show you is our Falk School of Sustainability. And this is showcasing a partnership that we have with actually the Convention Center downtown.
This semester, we're working on the Convention Center Rooftop Garden Project with the Agroecology and Growing Sustainably Lab class. This really awesome opportunity presented itself where the David L. Lawrence Convention Center in downtown Pittsburgh was renovating their roof and kind of revamping their rooftop garden project, and they were looking for a partner to help with some of the initial design and maintenance of the space. And we saw this great collaboration opportunity where the students in the Growing Sustainably Lab class could learn some of the basics about kind of garden design while also being able to create these new garden plots up on the rooftop.
One of the things that was the most exciting about this garden was how well it did. We came up there, we put in these plants, we put in these crops, we gave them everything they needed, and they blossomed. That combination of all this passion and hard work really produced a beautiful result that I think honored everybody that was part of that project.
Our current students and faculty are doing amazing things. And I just think those are two different examples of some emphasis areas that we're working on making sure prospective students are aware of. Integrated degrees are part of this plan too. So Chatham offers a full array of integrated degrees where we mix the undergraduate experience into the graduate experience. So we call it the 3+2. And about 45% of our incoming class typically will identify or select an integrated degree program that they want to pursue while they're here. What that allows them to do, so an example up here is our physician assistant program. At the undergraduate level, they would select the human biology program, and then during their junior year, they would apply, and their senior year, they would actually be a full-time graduate student in our physician assistant program. So what would have normally taken them 6 years, they can actually do in 5, saving them time, they're getting into that marketplace earlier, but also saving them money because their undergraduate financial aid and the scholarship support that they have helps support and augment some of those costs of that really expensive graduate degree. So a lot of the different ways we're trying to be innovative, think about access, also think about affordability for students even as they're on these graduate trajectories. So thought that was important to sort of share what we're doing there. D3 athletics is what Chatham has. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about this, because again, this is a vibrant part of our campus pride, school spirit on campus. We have new programs in men's volleyball that are joining. And this sort of if you haven't been on campus recently, sort of knowing the array of offerings that we have and that we are doing to engage and bring students in. Just important part of, again, who we are and different things that we're offering on campus. So financial aid, how do we make all this possible? Well, one of the areas is obviously through scholarship support, and scholarships and different awards and pathways that you offer as alumni, but then as our donors and our community members support, those are a big part of it. But for every incoming undergraduate student, they have these 4 pieces as part of their package. One of the things I did a little homework on ahead of this meeting is we have 54 students that are currently here that are either in a legacy, meaning their mom, their dad, their aunt, or their grandmother or grandfather attended Chatham. So they're receiving the Legacy Award, which is $5,000. To be here. And we also have, I've double checked here, 14 siblings that are enrolled here at Chatham, meaning 2 in the same family are here. This is up 15% over 2 years ago, and something that we continue to work and obviously lean into you to spread that word, because we want your family members to attend. We want your grandchildren and your children to obviously be passionate about Chatham just like you were. So something that we always track and we keep track of. Merit aid for students attending. Tuition fees, room and board at Chatham is over $54,000. Merit aid that we get based on students' academic quality ranges from $17,000 to $25,000. That is merit aid that Chatham supports, and your donations and your scholarships help underwrite and support. The book that's on the table here, these are some of the recipients of those awards. All 4 of these students are recipients of those awards and have merit aid from Chatham and from donors like you. I can't do this presentation and not plug that, you guys. You know that that's important. I have to talk about that, because what that does is make the work we do in admissions, attracting awesome current students, possible. So that alumni support really matters. We have a ton of upcoming events. Again, linking people to Chatham, being a great word of mouth out there, encouraging people, put us on their list. We are competing nationwide with the likes of Penn State, University of Pittsburgh, Cornell, Duke, USC. I am seeing cross apps from top tier schools and major Research One institutions. Your Chatham is a competitive institution. Our outcomes are strong. Obviously, you know that because you're strong alumni. That has not changed. But word of mouth is one of the #1 indicators that a student will be passionate about us and be able to connect with us. And I love hearing from you with references and referrals of students. I will oftentimes try and connect them with our current students also, so that they talk to someone that's currently living it right now and is here at Chatham. So these are some of the events that we have coming up that we're making sure that we share with students. And as I end my formal part of the presentation and transition over to our students, I'm going to leave you with Chatham and one of the videos that we often share with prospective students, just to show you in the fall how gorgeous your campus is and how we keep talking about this with students. And that's your Chatham. All right, thank you. It is my pleasure to hand this over to our student ambassadors. They're going to introduce themselves, tell you a little bit about themselves, where they're from, what they're involved in, and then we will open it up for a Q&A with you to ask questions, talk about life on campus. All right, we'll kick it off.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Sydney. I'm a second-year student here at Chatham University. My major is communications, and I live about half an hour away from here. I'm in Natrona Heights, so if you know where that is, what's up? Last year, I was a part of the Welcome Aboard program, which connects freshmen to alumni, and I highly recommend that. That was a lot of fun. But along with that, that's all I got. So if you want to talk with me, cool. Oh, you have it.
Hello. Oh. Hi there. My name is Loki Kern. I'm a second year. I'm a policy studies major and I'm minoring in music technology. There we go. I'm from West Virginia originally, but my grandparents are both from Pittsburgh, so I'm back in my ancestral lands, and I love the city, I love the university, and I'm glad to be here.
Hello, my name's Allison Odekirk. I'm also a second year in the food studies program. Like Amy was talking about, I'm in the inaugural year of that program, so I'm the first undergrad class that'll go through with that. I am from Parker, Colorado, so I think I've got these guys beat for distance. I'm also involved in the newspaper and the drama club on campus.
All right. Hi, y'all. My name is Cheering Sherpa. I'm in my junior year currently. I'm a music major with minors in music education and women and gender studies. I'm from this little town called Hershey. I don't know if you guys know that corporation, but yeah. Chocolate town. Yeah, it always smells like chocolate there. But yeah, nice to meet y'all.
So, a good Q&A is always started with maybe some topics. So, talk a little bit about what's it been like to get involved on campus? What are some of the clubs and organizations you guys are involved in?
I can start with that. I think one thing that really makes getting involved accessible on campus is at the beginning of every semester we have a club fair where all of the active clubs on campus have a table, and you can meet people who are already a part of that club, get some information about it, and join any email lists they have so you can start attending those meetings. I found a lot of my clubs that way and made a lot of friends that way. I tabled at the last fair for the Food Sovereignty Council on campus. The goal of that club is increasing food access for students. So a big thing we do is food shares. So we take the food that's grown on the farm up at Eden Hall and distribute that to students so that they have access to that produce.
Next. Hi. Whoa, am I too loud? We have over 50 clubs here on campus, and I like to say that because not only is that a big number, but if there's a club that you're interested in like starting for students on campus and we don't have it, all you need is 10 people to sign a petition and you can start a club. But we do have so many, I could go on for days. But just to list a few, we have like the Martial Arts Club, we have the Mental Wellness Club, we have the Ukulele Club. We could just, yeah, that's really cool. But we could just go on forever. But I just love that we have the fairs at the beginning of every year. So like we want all students to be involved. You can join at any age or grade level. And we're just, I don't know, very accommodating with that.
I would just like to note that I am often too ambitious when it comes to the amount of clubs that I can join. During the club fair, I will put down my email for maybe 10 clubs. I'm still on their email lists and I'm so sorry that I have not been able to attend all of the meetings. I bit off more than I can chew, but I mean, on campus involvement doesn't even have to end at clubs. I can name a few bands off the top of my head. We have one called the Vienna Girls Club. They're very good. On campus, I'm a music tech minor. So you just meet people who are, someone plays a bass, someone plays a guitar. It kind of goes together from there. What's a college without a few college bands? So yeah, the campus has been really welcoming. And it's a great place to be. I mean, people are friendly. Yeah, like I said, I get involved in too many things. It's difficult.
While we're on the topic of music, so this is like a new club that's been created. It's called our Coffee House Committee. So we know like our Ray Coffee House, COVID kind of was a bummer, and we haven't had a lot of things going on in there. But some of the music tech majors officially like created this club, and now we're having like all these performances. So like our one really like a pretty prominent band on campus, the Vienna the Girls Club, like they're like having performances in there. They've also convinced our music history professor to like play some EDM for the Chatham population. So just like a fun quip.
Let's see. Favorite class, favorite professor. I know these guys probably can immediately think of somebody that comes to mind. If they were to ask a current student, what sort of stands out for you as far as a favorite class that you maybe had or you're hearing about on campus that maybe you're looking forward to taking?
I can go first. So I took History of Islam last semester, and I quickly realized that it's one of the coolest things you can learn about, in my opinion. I'm also a policy studies major, so we're built a little differently. But my professor, Professor Peterson, convinced me to take Modern Middle East this semester and Arabic. And two classes, actually, I just had them this morning, and they've been by far my favorite classes I've taken my entire college career. It's a really small class size, so you get to know the professor well. I mean, it's me and 3 other people, and we're just trying our best to learn Arabic at 9 a.m. in the morning. So, it's really wonderful, and it's special too. I want to maybe do a summer abroad or a junior year abroad in an Arabic-speaking nation. So yeah, that's by far one of my favorite classes.
I hate to pick favorites with professors because I've had so many already that I feel like I've really made good connections with and really care about us as students. But I think I would be amiss not to give a shout out to Carrie Tippin. She's one of the English professors here. Last semester I had her for Food and American Identity, which was a class analyzing food in literature, which was so interesting. I've never noticed how much people eat in books before. But I also did an internship with her this summer. So I helped her with a research project she was working on. We wrote an academic paper about Southern cookbooks and the networks of people who write those cookbooks. And so I'm very excited for that. I'm going to be a published academic author because of her. So I just really appreciate her and the things she's taught me.
Unlike Allison, I am not afraid to pick favorites. Also because this professor, his office is downstairs in the basement. So if you can hear me, Dr. Boyd, you're great. But Dr. Boyd has been my advisor for the past 3 years. A very amazing guy, very interesting person. And I say that with like all due respect and love. But last semester, I took a course called 20th century music analysis. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be awful. We're just analyzing like sheet music and like classical stuff. It was not that. I don't know if we know who John Cage is in here, but very like avant-garde composer. He has this piece called 433, and it's like groundbreaking because like the performance itself is like this man sitting at a piano for 4 minutes and 33 seconds making no noise at all. And so like we analyze like interesting things like that. There's like this movement in music called the Fluxus movement, which is like really interesting stuff. So very much like not like classical leading at all. Like for example, an example of Fluxus would be like giving someone who can't play the trombone a trombone and like having them play like Mary Had a Little Lamb. So like things that are gonna go very poorly, but like very interesting.
No, I'm so indecisive, and I'm so sorry. Did I turn it? Okay. We good? Oh, thank you. I'm so indecisive, so I'm sorry, but I have two favorite teachers. One is Miss Sarah Bachnecht. She's actually one of our like leading teachers for the communique here on campus, and I just think she's a wonderful woman. I just love her teaching style. She pulls in everything that she's learned from life and college in general. So she actually used to work for the Pittsburgh Post Gazette, and she was a ballerina, and she has her own public relations firm. And because I'm a communications major, that's all very useful. But I just love that like her style of teaching is it doesn't feel like it's a lecture. It doesn't feel like, she's teaching you. It feels like she's just like giving you life advice all day long. And then my second favorite teacher, he's actually new this year. His name is Ryan D'Souza, and he teaches me persuasion and intercultural communication. And he also has a very unique teaching style because he's taught all over Pennsylvania and Canada and India. So like he just pulls everything that he's learned and he teaches me that way. So like instead for class this morning at 9 a.m., instead of sitting and listening to him talk as a lecture, he had us up and moving and walking around, and he put a yes and a no box in the middle of the floor, and he gave us a topic. He's like, I want your opinion, yes or no. You have to stand by it and defend it. So if you're the only one in the no box, you better convince us all to switch our opinion. But yeah, I just love the communications teachers. They're really good at communicating, and they're just really good people.
I'm going to open it up for questions. You can see we've got awesome students. Open it up, please.
So, hello, great comments from the student panel. It's so wonderful to hear about your experiences. One of you have brought up the topic of studying abroad. That was one of my favorite things to do while I was at Chatham. I had the pleasure of going twice. So, my question for you is, if you have studied abroad with Chatham, where did you go? What do you think? If not, where would you like to go?
I think I brought up the studying abroad, so I can answer that question. Although I've not actually gone yet, we are in the preparation process for what that would begin to look like. We had a study abroad fair a few weeks ago where you could just meet with the people and look at potential places to go and, places you could go to school at. And the chief one I was looking at was Morocco. I think that would be lovely. Another one that I'm really interested in, but I haven't quite figured out the actual how to do it yet, would be Georgia. That would be really beautiful. My professor says that they speak beautiful Arabic there. Why would I pick those two? Well, I hear Morocco is beautiful, and it's by the coastline. You got the Mediterranean Sea right there. And Georgia, I feel like would be really cool because it's so in the center of the Arabic world. That place is ancient. They have beautiful, beautiful old mosques from 2,000 years ago. I would just love to explore that land and hopefully get really good at speaking Arabic while I was there, preferably.
On the topic of study abroad, Chatham actually still offers a study abroad voucher. So I don't know if you took advantage of that or if we had that when you were students, but Chatham offers a $1,200 study abroad voucher to every single current student. Now, obviously, COVID affected that greatly. I think last year we did place students in study abroad, so it's starting to come back. Obviously, where we place is based on safety and security, but our Office of International Affairs has a full-time staff member that helps students facilitate that study abroad experience. We have an international studies program here and a certificate, and if students select the international studies certificate, they actually get $3,000 to put towards defraying the cost of their study abroad experience. So there's what I like to say is Chatham puts their money where their mouth is. in supporting that, experience. A few years ago, this was probably in the 2015-16 timeframe, Chatham was ranked 45th in the nation for the percentage of our students that study abroad. If you think about all the colleges and universities nationwide, that's not a bad company to be in. So something that we continue to prioritize and help make sure that students can do that.
I just signed the paperwork for the international certificate in the Middle East yesterday, so. Thank you.
Other questions? No. So the question was, does Chatham actually run study abroad, programs ourselves? And absolutely, yes, we do. So our faculty have areas of the world that they'll pick each year, and they will then offer a class in preparation, and then they will take students abroad. So Chatham faculty will sponsor, study abroad trips. Usually they're occurring in May. So Chatham graduates really early compared to our competitors. Our graduation is typically the last Sunday of April, where, a lot of folks are first, second, or third weekend of May. So while those other schools are still in classes or doing graduation, our faculty that Monday following graduation are typically jumping on a flight that following week with our students going abroad. Then in addition to the faculty-sponsored trips that we offer, we are in consortium with a whole bunch of different professional organizations that professionally sponsor collegiate study abroad. So you have the option of going for just that 1 month. You can go for a summer. You can go for a semester, fall or spring or summer. So a lot of different options for students, to study abroad here. And it's coming back, and I think we're all kind of excited about that because we know it's life-changing. When students do that and they bring that back not only to the classroom, but then also to their colleagues and peers, it's a really powerful opportunity. Other questions? Yes. Go ahead.
That's a great question. She asked, what effect did what effect did COVID had on our mentality here at Chatham? Is that correct? Your mental health, but also your sense of momentum in college. Yeah. How did it affect our mental health and our momentum here at Chatham? I would say it was rough. It was rough coming out of Chatham. Out of COVID. I'm so sorry. It was rough coming out of Chatham.
All those C words.
There's so many C's. But yes, it was rough coming out of COVID, right out of high school. But I loved that Chatham was SAT optional. So, if I didn't have the opportunity to take the SATs, Chatham did not judge me for it. And then it was also really nice coming to a classroom because a lot of my senior year of high school, it was on Zoom, and I didn't really get that person-to-person interaction. But when I came to Chatham and they were just great with that. They're like, we're very accommodating. It's optional if you want to go in person or online. And they also were they were just great. They gave us options for free boosters, free vaccines, even the free flu shot right now. I got mine last week on the quad. But I just thought Chatham was just great overall for even everyone's mental health, along with that, because even with our counseling services, we can get free counseling. So if we ever needed to talk about how COVID affected us and how it was getting out of it, they were here for us. They were a great support system.
I think I can talk to this. I came into Chatham during fall 2020, so very deep COVID. I'm not gonna lie, same thing as Sydney. It was pretty rough, and I'm a naturally introverted person, though I may not seem it right now. But it's it was hard to gauge how do I make friends? Do they have COVID? It was a lot of questions and not being able to find a lot of answers. How I kind of got through it was I ended up making friends with the people in my dorm. I lived in Ray my freshman year, and I met my best friend during that time. During orientation week, there was a very big thunderstorm and the power cut off, and during that time I was in the shower and I was I'm a scaredy cat. I screamed because also like Chatham's like haunted. So I was like, oh my gosh, the power did not cut off. It's like ghost. And so I hear like this knock at the door and it's like, are you okay? I was like, no. But yeah, so just like it was like a lot of like I'm a believer in fate, just like and chances like that, of like finding people who like make the time worthwhile. It was like Cindy was saying, like a lot of classes were like online, virtual. There weren't like a lot of events going on campus, and it was kind of like you had to like put in the work to make it like the best situation for yourself. Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation and thank you for your enthusiasm for. I'm wondering about your involvement in the larger community because Chatham is so extraordinary that you might spend all of your time here, as the film suggested, but there is the wider Pittsburgh community and certainly a lot of social challenges and income inequality and also issues of race. So could you talk a little bit about your interactions and participation in that greater community?
Yeah, I can start off unless anyone else wants to. Okay. So I think a lot of our classes touch on a lot of those. The question was about how we're involved in the greater Pittsburgh community and how we tackle some of the issues we're facing as a community as a whole and how we're involved in those. I think Chatham does a really good job of encouraging us to go out into the community. We're required to have internship hours before we graduate, and a lot of times that results in a partnership with businesses who a lot of times are tackling societal issues. Those are discussed a lot in our classes. I took a class last semester about food access and policy, which discussed a lot of the issues that cause food insecurity and the groups that are most impacted by those. And we're also encouraged to volunteer a lot. We do a lot of work with the food banks and things on in the area, just trying to give back to our community because I think Pittsburgh gives a lot to us, so it's our responsibility to give back to them too.
I've found that Pittsburgh has a lot of hardworking people. And as I've kind of learned more and more about the city, and I've reached out to organizations talking about social justice issues and systemic issues that kind of are facing not only Pittsburgh, but just America in general, I've found it to be very welcoming. I've been talking with a few organizations that are associated with the new labor kind of movement that's been happening recently. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the Amazon warehouse unionization efforts. There's really great stuff that can be done, and it's been really great just to go out and reach. I'm from a very small town, very conservative town, and it's been really liberating going into the city and finding just like-minded people because there weren't a lot of people like-minded to me where I was from. So yeah, it's been great, and I really think Chatham fosters that. Definitely our students are heavily involved in politics. Yeah, it's been wonderful.
What is your town in West Virginia?
Charlestown, it's near Harper's Ferry. I don't know if you guys know where that's at. Oh, okay. Ah, yeah. You know.
Class of 67 is being very. It's marvelous to hear. Thank you for your contributions, Crystal. It's marvelous to hear about all the intersections of formerly separated topics and subjects to study, and many of them are chiming everything from studying food and food distribution to music. Both my sons are in Houston. But is there? So I went on the Arboretum tour and passed by Lindsay House. I took a picture of Lindsay House menu of things that go on there. It was Creative Writing, Writing, English, everything that we in the class of 67 were exposed to in our liberal arts education. So my that are outside of your area in your general education courses.
Yeah.
I can start again. The way, so the question was what kind of general education requirements we have that kind of give us the basics of well-rounded education. The way Chatham's class requirements are structured are, we call it depth and breadth. So depth are those classes that are related to your major that get you really into that deep, like specific knowledge related to the thing you're studying. And then breadth are things outside of that major, but that are still important to know. So those cover your basic math, science, English classes, but we also have environmental breadth classes that you're required to take. I'm blanking on all of the words, like professional development, just to kind of get you a broader education. So I'm in a newspaper class right now that counts for my professional development. I'm taking an art history class about landscapes that counts for my environmental kind of history gen ed. And then if you guys want to talk about other experiences you have. But I'm taking classes that I kind of never expected to be focusing on during my college career, but that have taught me a lot, I think.
I absolutely agree. I am not the best at math, and I was fortunate enough to get some credits in high school, so I did not have to take that many math courses when I went to Chatham. But if I did not get those credits, I'm sure I would be more knowledgeable in math than I am now. I am taking some really interesting classes. I'm taking American environmental history for my policy studies major requirements, and it's been a really interesting class. Chatham is known for its sustainability programs, and even though I myself am not a sustainability major, it's really, like we were saying, it's an intersection between the two fields. It's a wonderful class. It's all about kind of how America started and how our interactions with the environment have changed as America as a nation has developed. So even though, you may have one idea in mind that you want to study, you're gonna have to take other classes other than that one topic you want to study, and you're gonna be interested because we have great professors and really cool topics.
Yeah, so you came up with a really good point about that, because I'm so sorry if I interrupted somebody. But I really like to use the example of Rachel Carson, because she came here wanting nothing to do with bio, but then it completely worked out for her in the end. And but I just love that we have to take classes that are outside of our majors. So like if I take a Holocaust class and I fall in love with like learning about it, I can add the Holocaust as a minor. So I can just add on to my education. And I really love that we're diverse with our classes as well. So I'm this year taking a class on race and gender and just equality in general. And it's really eye-opening because I get to learn about like all the things I wasn't taught in high school. And then things along the lines of just like equality for like everyone in different like economic stances and different like sexual preferences and stuff along those lines. So it is very eye-opening about everything here.
I just wanted to harken back, build a little bit on Vivian's question also, but Chatham has had several slogans over the years, and one was being a student here will allow you to do whatever you want to do, and being a woman will not get in your way. And the other one was that they were preparing world-ready women, but it's students today. Do you think Chatham is still preparing you to be not only community ready, but world ready?
That's a great question. I would definitely say so.
In your case, definitely. Ready to go.
I like to think so. I mean, Chatham prepares you in multiple ways. We mentioned internships where you have experience in the job force before you're actually thrusted into the job force. Really just living in a city, I feel like, prepares you at least a little bit for the world. As far as, it's got a great social background. You learn how to make friends quickly, especially when we came here and it was during COVID. Because all the stores were closed down, it really felt like you got to get good at just entertaining yourselves with just the people around you, because that's really all you're going to have to do. it's prepared me in a lot of ways, and I still feel like, to be honest, I have a lot of preparation to do, but I feel like I'm well on my way there.
Yes, and then Chatham is also really good about like getting us prepared when we leave because we have to take an internship before we graduate, which is really great because it's like a foot in the door for where I want to go, and I have the experience with me that I can add on to my resume. So, and even if I do the internship and I'm like, oof, this is not the career for me, I can switch because I already know what to expect and like be world ready when I leave college.
But I wanted to first start by saying I studied Chinese when I was a sophomore, more than 50 years ago, and I went down to Pitt to hear him speak, so that was great. And I played under Professor Spinelli. I formed a prepared piano piece that came to group. So I'm very excited to hear that you're excited about Chinese. And for me, my question for you guys is: are you guys going to have to write tutorials? So they're like, what's tutorials?
The capstone projects?
The tutorials, it's like we're trying to research.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Okay, different name.
Yeah.
It was a name change, so sorry. You know what you're talking about? We just didn't know the word.
So we call them capstone projects now instead of tutorials, and that's just kind of like the undergrad version of a thesis. So you get a topic, and then you write a research paper about it before you graduate in your field of interest. And you get a whole, I believe there's a whole class along with that to kind of prepare you for that process and guide you through the writing process. So we're all a couple years off from that, thankfully. I've got plenty of time before I have to think about that, but it will be something we do eventually. Excited to join the group then. Yes.
When we were in school, there were 400 students on campus. Yeah, now there's 2,400 students. Where do you put everybody? Well, we have valet parking. Any of you that had to fight for parking today, you know what that's like. No, so one of the reasons I actually highlighted an online video today is that we still have room to grow. There's no doubt we have room to grow. Chatham County has an on-campus capacity between 1,400 to 1,600 students on campus. All right, so there's room to grow. However, the way we handle it is really through the scheduling of classes and, Monday through Friday, leveraging evenings. What about dorms? Dorms? We are this year, honestly, this fall, we had a waiting list for Residence Life in August. So we have maximized our residence halls. What's happening currently is there's a master plan happening, requesting the city to basically open up our apartments that are down on Fifth Avenue for greater capacity. They used to be that way, is my understanding, and we're asking the city to allow us to bring that back. That will open up additional capacity for us. There's also a master plan that brings Beatty House and other spaces on campus back into a residence hall. Again, long-term, master plan. But I can kind of turn it over to our current students that are living on campus as far as what life is like on campus, living on campus. You want to address that?
Yeah, go for it. Okay, awesome. I actually live in the apartments on campus, which is right on Fifth Avenue, and thankfully so, because if not, they don't have room for me. But yeah, we've just done so much renovating over the years. So I know you guys said Beatty House was awesome, but we now have offices there. Although I think it'd be really cool to live there too. But we have done in our dormitories, we have like singles, doubles, and suites. So like my friend used to live in a room that had 5 girls in it in one bathroom. If you can imagine what that was like. But Yeah, we just like to make the most of our space, and it actually works out well for most people. So we just make the best of what we got.
I think it would be fun if we all went down the line and said all the places we've lived on campus, if we want to.
I've only lived in the apartments, so.
I was in Ficus Hall on the 3rd floor my freshman year, and now I'm in the Chatham Apartments.
I was also in Ficus on the 2nd floor, so you were the one throwing stuff around on top of me. No.
Never.
And this year I live in Hicks Estate on the lower campus apartments.
So in my freshman year, I lived in Ray House, and for the past 2 years, I've lived in the Pelletro Apartments.
This is specifically for the class of 1972. All of them work in Berry Hall. Okay.
Yes, I was just about to mention that. I heard it was a dorm, and that's hard to believe because that's my workplace.
I also heard people used to live inside of the Mellon Center. How was that like? Did?
Asking you the questions.
Living in apartments, working also as we grew undergrad, we weren't able to do graduate housing, but we grew up to this point. Every undergraduate wanted to be on campus for free. That growth number includes having 120 students living full time out in Newton Hall. So right now we have one dorm for 60, but we have the plans to add another more apartment style housing out there. And then in our master plan for here, we can accommodate, I think, another 800 to 900. Right now, we have a total of about 800 beds between Shadyside and Newton Hall. So we have grown significantly, but it's not Ken Ball 5 until we come back. That's the excitement. Not in hallways and classrooms. Just kind of a 2-minute, 1-minute warning here, real quick. So for those of you that still live in the apartments, how awful are those stairs coming back?
Yes.
Leg day every day.
Yes, that is a wonderful question. I've actually gotten used to those. Like my first week here, it was rough. I'm not gonna lie, it was rough, but it really is. I get my steps in. But it's funny because my first classes of the days are in the art building, which if anyone knows what that is, it's the other side of campus, uphill. So I really get my legs in, and me and the stairs now have an agreement. If they're nice to me, I'm nice to them.
There's a quick question over here.
Yeah, I have a quick question about students in the education department. Back when I went, you had to major in a subject area. You could not major in education. You had to major in a subject area, and you minored in education. Is that still the program?
The question was in the School of Education, when she was a student, that you majored in a subject area and then you had like your certification in education. That's the same way that the Department of Education does it today. It's basically for, particularly in secondary ed, you have your core content areas and then you have your certification of education. So yep, the Department of Ed is doing that. Yes. Yep, yep. Thank you. Can we give our students a round of applause? Thank you. Welcome back to Reunion and have a wonderful weekend.
Can we also give Amy Becker a round of applause? Thank you, Amy, and these fantastic students blowing us away back there. So many quotable notes we were taking. Thank you so much for sharing those. So if you are so moved to help support scholarships, I'm going to give a plug for Kyle Glazier in the back. He's our new director of annual giving, and he's on hand all weekend to facilitate scholarship giving. Just if you're so moved, which we hope you are. So now we have a bit of a break in the program. There's still plenty of food. So especially our student ambassadors, please help yourselves to lunch. Continue eating. We have hot beverages. They deserve lunch, right? Exactly. Okay, if you're taking the Spring Hill Suites shuttle, the 130 is still waiting for you, but they're about to depart. So if you're taking that 130 shuttle back to Spring Hill Suites, it's waiting for you outside. And now there's a break in the program until our shuttles to Eden Hall campus, unless you're driving yourselves, but we hope to see you tonight at the Eden Hall experience. Starts with a self-guided tour at 5 o'clock and dinner at 6 with remarks from President Feingold and our new Dean of the Falk School Sustainability and Environment, Lou Leonard. So any questions, come see me. But if not, thanks for joining us for lunch today. Woo woo. Thank you, Amy.